And people tore into me in this video, tore into me on Facebook. I got called every which name you could possibly think of. We are still in need of an office manager for Anytime Fitness Blaine. We had someone scheduled and ready to roll, and they called and said they found something else. So the search continues. That's what I'm doing today. A couple interviews before our team meeting. At the gym, we just got this new cooler. It's actually super cool. It's super awesome. So then what they do is they just scan the QR code over here, and that lets them buy the drink without having to have a staff member here. Actually really looking forward to it. When I do coaching calls with our franchisees or business owners in general, I would say that 80% of the issues are mental stuff, and things that happen in people's lives that cause them to go defensive and start to shrink and start to be afraid. And very rarely is it actually financial and marketing and those sort of things. It's usually psychological, mental blocks and hurdles. So this coaching call specifically is with one of our owners, and I was just trying to get him past a mental block in his mind. I actually was speaking with him and his wife. Great people, I love them a lot, and just wanting to help them get to the next level by getting through some of these barriers. And so, the change part won't be comfortable. I understand that, whether it be hiring when you feel like you don't need it, whether that be marketing when we don't feel like we should be. I understand that, but it's the mindset of we have to break out of whatever happened in July. You've also got to realize that as an owner, you've got to reach out for help, and you've got to be like, hey, this is not working. And don't feel like anyone's gonna look at you negatively. And there's owners that every single day contact us and are like, I'm on my last dollar. And then I don't have a single dollar. I gotta get collections. I've gotta get jobs. None of my employees showed up. It happens every day, right? Yeah. And so you are not an island to yourself. And if you need help with something, they can give it, right? But they're gonna push you. They're gonna push you, right? Because they want to see you succeed, and they know what it takes to get there. And so I understand getting an employee right now feels uncomfortable. I understand that once you get a good employee, it's like, okay, how do I get jobs? We're gonna go figure it out. We're gonna go get jobs. We're gonna knock on doors. We're gonna close better by calling on people, getting the estimates out faster, getting them on the schedule faster.
What I'm hearing you saying from what you're saying is that it's okay if we need to change that mentality of let's save the budget. Let's just do what we got to do and hire the people that we need in order to shift gears, for lack of a better word, So maybe that's the part that had he reached out, the tone would have been a little different, because I'm hearing that the numbers are important, but it's not more important than your mindset of how you're going to go forward.
Right now, you're assuming that you're going to find this amazing employee and that you're not going to have any work for them. And we haven't crossed the first bridge, and that's finding a great employee. Right? Yeah. Let's do that. And then worst case scenario, we don't have enough work for them. Sorry, we only have 25 hours worth of work this week for you. That's worst case scenario, but we haven't even crossed the first bridge of finding a good employee. And so I feel like when someone has a mindset that they're crossing the bridges way too soon, you're crossing the bridge of that conversation with them that you don't have enough work for them prior to finding them. And it's prohibiting you from crossing the first bridge of finding a good person. Mm-hmm. Because you're going into an interview and you're literally I don't know if I can keep this person busy. Yeah. And so you got to have that confidence. And that's why they're going to treat you that way. They're not going to treat you as hey, how are you feeling? What's going to, let's just get this done. Let's do this. And that's the kind of mentality we have here, because I need you to cross the first bridge before we even start thinking about the second bridge. If we keep worrying about the third and the fourth and the fifth bridge and what happens when we have 5 trucks, you're never going to take any action. Just get comfortable with being uncomfortable over the next 6 months. Because if we're going to have it that year, next year, the next 6 months are going to be where we've got to get uncomfortable. And honestly, getting uncomfortable is a lot easier than having the stress you've had the past 2 or 3 weeks, probably, of just what is Mike thinking about me? And when I'm going to get fired, that needs to be I'm an owner, I own this thing, I'm going to take this thing over, right? Because it'll affect the way you interview, it'll affect the way you work, it'll affect the way you sell if your mindset is constantly in a state of fear instead of expansion.
Thank you for that.
Let's go execute.
Let's execute.
Yeah. Cool. Stay in touch. All right, so it came down to the Airbnb this evening just to take a look around, and actually ordered everything on Amazon. So $3,000 is what I spend
spent to basically fully furnish this whole thing. So we gotta get the wiring done. That's why the panel's off there, but you gotta really simplify things when it comes to a tiny house because every single square foot needs to be thought about. So for example, like the TV is gonna be up on that wall. Obviously there's a removable ladder, and then there'll be a couch here, and everything's just gonna be really tight. So up here we'll have a queen size bed. We have everything cleaned up, get some blinds on these windows. There's a fan here, so it'll keep good circulation. There's also AC and heating. But we'll put another queen size bed up there. So theoretically, we're gonna say that we can house 4 people. Honestly, comfortably, I'd say 90% of the time there's gonna be only 2 people here, but it's looking pretty good. We gotta do quite a bit of work on this place though. Like right now, this is a matte finish on the wall, and that just shows every single piece of dust and etc. So we're gonna paint the whole thing with semi-gloss. We're also going to stain this butcher block so that way it doesn't, it's not as porous to if someone's cooking. And then something's wrong with this stove. I think the back corner, there's a leg that's broken. So gotta fix that. But yeah, lots of cleaning just because all the windows are obviously new. But most importantly is this matte finish on any sort of a rental property is bad news. You gotta do semi-gloss in order just to make it where you don't see every single smudge. You can even see on the stairs going up to the loft, like every single little piece of dirt and dust is gonna be able to be seen, especially with people's feet knocking up against it. So you gotta do semi-gloss, it's easy to wipe down, really simple. So right now in terms of the investment in this, $74,000 here delivered, includes taxes and everything like that. $3,000 to furnish it, and I'm probably looking at another $5,000 to $10,000 to get the water hooked up, the electric hooked up, the deck put in, and then down the road I'll probably install the hot tub for $4,000 or $5,000, get a really nice one, because I truly believe we can get $250 to $300 per night. And if you get 20 nights in a month, that's $6,000 of revenue. So you literally could pay this thing off in 1 year, maybe 15 months, if you can just market it correctly. So that's the goal. Now, stepping out of the Airbnb, out of the tiny house here, really cool to know, just found out that the neighbor of this property is actually one of the followers of the show and the videos, and actually knew who I was. So that was really cool. So shout out to Marvin, he's watching. Was just able to talk to him across the way. So that's really cool. He actually started his lawn care and landscaping business last year because of the channel. So shout out to Marvin's Gardens. That was the name of the video, of the company. So shout out to you, Marvin, and looking forward to being a great neighbor. Okay, it's 8:30 in the evening. I'm headed back home, and wrapping up the week, I was looking at some of my YouTube comments, and someone in the YouTube comments said, hey, the comments in this section are so nice to you, but on Facebook, people are chewing you out. And it was about the video that I made a couple weeks back when an employee was 2 minutes, or an applicant I should say, was 2 minutes late to their interview, and I basically said, hey, you're not gonna work here. And people tore into me in this video, tore into me on Facebook. So make sure you watch the video that I made as a reaction to all the comments, because I got called every which name you could possibly think of, and I wanted to give more clarity, information, and maybe some insight is maybe I was wrong on a couple things. So on the end screen of this video, make sure you check out that video with some more explanation and color to what actually happened. I'm just making a video right now, it's late, for lawn care web design clients, talking about once their site is actually loaded and public, what they can expect over the first 6 months in terms of ranking on Google and what they can do to improve that. There's so many different things you can do. So that's what I'm making the video for about now. If you're interested in lawn care web design, check it out, lawncarewebdesign.com. Also homeservicewebdesign.com. So any home improvement business, we can build your website for you. It's $399 a month. There's no contract. You can cancel at any time. And we really believe that the value we provide is far above that of most other companies that sell you a $10,000 package and then try to upsell you on a whole bunch of stuff afterwards. So check it out.